Welcome back to Let's Have It Out. I am still Noko Moswete. My guest for tonight is still Dr. Jessica Ramaphakela. We are talking about this desperate need to be called baby, which in some cases gives birth to abuse. So, doctor, you were saying that one of the reasons why women are able to pay money to prophets to pray for them to get married is because of the religious influence. They grew up seeing people testifying in church that Pastor so-and-so prayed for me and I got something. And then they believe that if they pay for it, then they will get even a bigger miracle like a husband from Venda. That is a big miracle. So I want to ask, from a point of a non-religious person, somebody who is not a Christian, because when you are saying it is not desperation, it is influence. So who influences some of these people to go to extreme measures of buying soaps or creams that are said to shrink or to make a woman's genitalia smaller? Because, and you know what I think? I think it is desperation. You resort to those measurements of keeping a man happy when you realize that he's actually walking away from you. So is that also upbringing influence? Are there women who groom their children to
do all those things?
To insert things in their bodies to keep a man? Are there women who say, you know what, my daughter, if you feel like your relationship is about to break, drink cinnamon and milk?
Noko, I want to give you an analogy of a mother, you know, being a parent. Imagine if your child gets so sick and then you go and seek medical intervention and none of it works. And then somebody out there from Limpopo who goes to Pastor Moswete's church and they tell you, Noko, I've took my child who was dying of cancer and they got healed. As a parent, you will go to every measure for your child to get the help you think they deserve.
Well, you know, let me agree with you on that one.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe I cut you before you could finish your sentence.
Yes, because I wanted to elaborate on that. You know, as women as well, when a woman gets married, they tell you all sorts of things. Mosadi you know, a woman holds the sword on the sharp end. You know, those are the things that you're taught.
Okay.
And the stigma.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. And our first caller is Tulani from Cape Town. Hi, Tulani. What is your question?
Hello, Leo. Tulani from Cape Town. Yes.
Yes. How are you?
Yes. I thought, you know, let me just share my 2 cents around the comment on the relationship. And I think partially the community, which generally females sometimes grow up in, also has an influence on the, you know, in terms of relationship. But also, I think there's not a lot of opportunities where people do self-mastery development in order to understand how they behave, and quite often this shows up in relationship. And also something that I've learned is that sometimes the things around a relationship contract are things that work, and you know, being able to set up expectation to your partner and knowing what exactly you can compromise on and what you can't compromise on. Basically a checklist for both the parties. And I think if most people can actually emphasize on that and be able to plan that in a relationship, and that will actually put them in a good spot.
Okay, so basically you're saying good communication skills can save and make a good relationship.
Yes, no, definitely. And that is based on, you know, expectations and knowing what I as a man can bring in the table and what the woman can bring in the table, and then we both reach a common ground.
Okay, thank you so much, Tulani, for that. But what I'm saying is that Dr. Jez, what Tulani is saying is that people need to come together, sit on the table and say, fine, you and I want to have a relationship. This is what I'm willing to do. And this is how far I'm willing to go for you and this relationship. And then, according to Tulani, everything will just be hunky-dory.
You know, I partially agree and I don't. I'm still sticking to my guns about influence, you know. A generation of kids from the 80s, which we belong to, you know, we still believe in certain things about relationship that were taught to us. You get what I mean? So for a very long time, a certain formula has worked. You know, for example, a woman who stayed in the villages while the husband is working in Gauteng, you get what I mean? That woman had to raise the kids, and today they are lawyers and whatsoever. So that formula has worked for generations. So, I mean, you come now and tell me this is not going to work. It's very difficult. You get what I mean? Change has always been difficult to everyone.
Okay, fine. So what you're saying, because right now there are TV programs that show people who are looking for their fathers, and sometimes you find that the father that is being looked for is married. And even us, some of us, we have siblings. Just somebody out of nowhere, and then they come to you and say, hey, Dr. Jez, I'm your sister. Our mothers were able to just let it go, like, because they were told, even when they got married, that Mosadi, a woman's graveyard is in her in-law's place, or something, if I were to direct translate it. But how far are we willing to hold on in order for us to be buried by our in-laws? Like, must we just hold on for dear life? But like,
I guess like I said before, that we have different levels of tolerance. And again, it's influenced by what you believe in, whether you are staying for the kids, whether you are staying for financial reasons, you know. I mean, you look at most women that are not employed who has 5 kids, and you were told, women, you have to hold it together. You get what I mean? And you look at those kids that are out there who are calling utatako and whatsoever, and you think of your own kids and thinking, oh my goodness, should I leave this? Then what happens to my kids? Am I going to bring up those kids who one day they will be so not adjusted about life issues and social issues? Do you want your kids to end up going utatako? I think that's where the question is. You choose where you going to lie. Whether you want your kids who are going to go utatako by leaving your household, a choice.
Thank you, Doctor. We have to go to the ad break. After the break, our conversation continues. This is Let's Have It Out on ENCA.